بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين إلى يوم الدين أما بعد إن معه جبل خبز ونهر ماء Dajjal will control the food and water reserves on earth, the global food supplies. But for that to happen, they will also have to destroy the current supply system. So two things is happening. One is creating a monopoly, creating a structure where you control the global supplies. At the same time, for you to control those supplies, you need to destroy the existing structures. So as people of Iman, we need to be aware, we need to be cognizant of the fact that batil, falsehood, is continuously making an effort to prepare for this takeover. And by nature, people, if they do it once, they do it again. We make the mistake, make the same mistake. But a believer shouldn't be making the same mistake twice. We shouldn't be gullible. That's why I just said, don't be gullible. Use life before it uses you. Understand that there is no free lunches. For every action you take, there is a reaction. For every action you take, there is a reaction. So we should be planning and plotting and not waiting for a situation to happen, then implement steps. If load shedding starts and now it gets to you, and then you decide, I need to get a generator, I need to get an inverter, etc., then that is late planning. Now there's a big demand, prices have escalated, the good models are not available, you'll get leftover stock, etc., etc., etc. Shortage of water, get a borehole, but you can't find anybody to drill because everybody's doing it. Nobody's proactive, everybody's reactive. And some people object and they say, no, natawakkal Allah, just put your trust in Allah. Definitely, 100%, 199.99%. That is true, that is the only usul. But Thanwi explains, men should first plot, adopt the means, thereafter trust in Allah. You got employees in the business, yes, trust them, no problem. But you have systems in place. First trust the system, then trust your employees. So as believers, we have to understand different situations, different realities, learn to read between the lines, not to take things for granted. Don't dive into things. Like there was a vacuum cleaner salesman who used to go door to door. So when he went to his first house in the town, there was a lady that answered the door. Before she could say anything, he just rushed inside and dumped a pile of horse manure on the lounge carpet. So he said, ma'am, if this vacuum cleaner doesn't do wonders cleaning the horse manure, I'll eat every chunk of it. So the lady replies, she says, do you want ketchup on it? Do you want some sauce? Now he's even more shocked. What do you mean? What you talking about? She says, no, we just moved in. There's no power at the moment. We're busy getting it sorted out. There's no electricity. You're going to have to eat your words literally. So not to just dive into things, not to take things for granted, just live every day like the world's gonna carry on as normal. We are told to prepare for death, prepare for akhirat. So forget dunyawi preparation, we are ghafil, we are negligent of preparation for akhirat. And even in the researchers whom Allah has opened up this great planning, they say we are living in the great deception. The word is synonymous, great depression. So everybody are depressed, but great deception. So from transhumanism to the great reset, and this plan to manipulate the masses and their visions, their systems of control, they want you to fit into it. So we need to see through all of this and not believe through their lies, this globalist agenda, this global domination, the planning that may unfold from the digital identity to digital twins to programmable central bank digital currencies to social credit systems to human augmentation to the Internet of Things, and now Internet, I.O.B., Internet of Bodies. Inshallah, we'll discuss that at the time when it is right, but let's do research on this, the I.O.B. So these are all the plans that have been rolled out by this cabal, these globalists, in the name of solving the world's problems. And part of that is this food agenda. So ultra processed food is what they're pushing at, which is so-called beneficial, which is so-called good to the environment, but in reality they want to do away with our traditional food diet, go on to these systems which are environmentally destructive. They're replacing it with GMOs, protein alternatives, insects, plants, synthetic biology. And they say that the world cannot survive unless we transition to this ultra-processed, this highly unnatural diet. It is literally, in reality, unhealthy. So the agenda where they've wiped out good food. Look at the Dutch government imposing nitrogen pollution restrictions on farmers. They call it the green policy. They want to cut livestock production by 30%, forcing farmers to sell their land, putting them out of business. The Netherlands, largest exporter in the European Union, Canada implementing similarly restrictions, part of the climate plan. So this planetary health destroying diet. We look at the EAT Forum, which is a Wellcome Trust Stockholm Resilience Center. They were developed to come with a planetary health diet. They want to implement this worldwide. They say we need to cut meat and dairy intake by 90% and replace it with what? Food that is made in laboratories, cereals, oils, which are all GE. So the largest initiative, which is called Fresh, they want to transform the food system with biotech companies, fake meat companies, and to replace foods with these lab-created alternatives. So in the name of sustainability, climate change prevention, they're controlling the meat, controlling dairy, controlling cereals, controlling oils. So this is junk food on steroids, ultra-processed food. It's junk food on steroids. Increased calorie intake, weight gain, chronic disease, etc., etc., etc. So one of the reasons why it is so bad is it is lined with omega-6 fat, which is LA, linoleic acid. And this is from industrial seed oils. So you must know that plant-based meat alternatives do not contain animal fats, and the fat comes from industrial seed oils like soy, canola oil, and this in fact is a disaster. It's a metabolic disaster. So besides the LA, it's high in sugar, corn syrup, fructose, and that causes more damage as well. But LA itself, it stays in your cell membranes for up to 7 years. So sugar to some extent gets taken out of your system, but LA is a no-go zone. And according to research, they say Allah alam bisawab, 10 grams a day may cause serious health conditions. So if we go on to the research over the century, and you see where norm was 2-3 grams a day to currently now 30 to 40 grams a day. We say anything above 10. So the average person is around 30 to 40 grams a day, 4 times the amount. That may be disastrous. And there's LA and CLA. CLA is conjugated linoleic acid. And CLA is beneficial, LA is harmful. Harmful in a sense that heart disease, a condition when you have excess LA intake, thus triggers cancer. So they've done tests where they've given lab rats, and they found out that after they increased to 10%, these rats developed cancer. So that's one. Then obesity. So when they gave rats the LA, they found that they became obese. Then the risk of ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, COVID-19, SARS. So the severe acute respiratory syndrome, when a person has a high LA intake, then it contributes and assists in one picking up this. It triggers heart disease. Now take different foods, different oils. So from your sunflower, 68%, safflower, 70% of linoleic acid, soybean, 51%, peanut, 32%, canola, 19%. And if you could go the old age oil which people used to use is ghee, 2%, coconut oil, 2%. So olive oil, very low as well. So they want to replace, they've got fake substitutes, and this will really exacerbate the decline in health in the population. You see more doctors, more hospitals, more medication, but more people are ill. So they said, okay, the replacement is insects, which is a protein replacement, but it's got chitin, which is highly inflammatory and highly a allergy-inducing compound. So this triggers an immune response and allergic reaction, inflammation, and they've prepared reports. They've said the same ingredient is a valuable prebiotic fiber, an antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial property. Edibleinsects.com, go check eatcrickster.com. So they promoting their agendas. Then the food compass, which is supposed to encourage nutrition, is destroying nutrition. So from the Friedman School of Nutrition Science, and they've created a food compass. So this whole structure was to let people know what's beneficial to eat, what food standards needs to be developed to make it healthier. But this actual food compass takes you away from what is wholesome, what is natural, what is healthy, what is beneficial. And it's giving targheeb, it's inciting us towards processed, harmful, disastrous, toxic, poisonous junk food. So if we look at the graph that they've done, on the top of the list, and they've categorized in 3 categories, what should be encouraged. So they encourage frosted mini wheats, unsweetened almond milk, non-fat frozen yogurt, chocolate covered almonds, honey nut Cheerios. Where did it come into the equation? Then moderate sweet potato fries or chips. So all the products which they are manufactured in almond M&Ms. How come they encouraging products which is, and where's the no-go zone to be minimized? Whole egg fried in butter. How healthy is that? Cheddar cheese, ground beef. So their products which they want to encourage people to, they bring in the world onto that. And these ultra processed foods are not green, they're not environment friendly, they fundamentally are unsustainable. And we need to reject this diet. So we look at a 2004 review from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. They're saying that there's health disparities, and there's a difference between a nutrient dense diet, nutrient dense, which costs more, and a calorie dense, which is nutrition deficient. They promoting high calorie but nutrition deficient. And most of these chains are subsidized by governments. There's big funds for it, and it's all backed up because these people have lobbied, they've controlled governments, and they want, so from corn to wheat to sugar to various seed oils, there's bigger margins, there's more incentives, and that's what the agenda is pushing. What will we eat in 2030, the Great Reset? What's their agenda? So they're saying, firstly, synthetic nutrients. So your fruit, your vegetables, which is natural, healthy, will be with supplements. Now you'll see people are going, they're taking tablets, vitamin tablets. It's all supplements. People are going to gym in supplements. Go to the even the alternate medicines, they're giving you supplements. Fresh fruit and vegetables gone out of the window. Then seed oils, promoting canola oil, this oil here. Likewise, they say that you don't need to eat anything but you'll be happy. Then alternative proteins. So lab grown meat, soy-based proteins. And then the last but not least, micro livestock. So 2/3 of proteins will come from cockroaches, flies and worms. So we need to start growing our own food. In our environments, have local growers, support people that are growing locally, buy produce here, have a co-op, community gardens, create your own food security system in your environment. And they don't want you to grow your own food, they don't want you to eat natural, unprocessed, unadulterated foods. And we are allowing them to do that. We are part of their agenda because we are supporting these structures. And we need to stand up. So the Dutch farmers toppled the agricultural minister because of this agenda here. European farmers are fighting back. 40,000 farmers took to the streets. For what? They're fighting back. Whose grain has been shipped from the Ukraine? So go into that whole agenda and what plan and what takeover and where do they control us? So Let us be clear, let us be aware of what is happening, and let us plan accordingly. The amal for today is to say Ameen is a great favor and bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say Ameen in salah. When the Imam is making dua, we say Ameen. Somebody makes dua for you to say Ameen. Sahaba say we were sitting in the company of Nabi alayhi salam, and he said, Inna Allah ta'ala atani khisalan thalatha. Three qualities I've been favored with. Atani salatan fi sufuf. One specific, special, unique trait from the three is that your salah is in rows, sufuf. Wa atani tahiyya. Allah has given me the greeting. Innaha la tahiyyatu ahlil jannah. The same greeting, salam, is of the Jannatis. Wa atani ta'ameen. And I've been given this Ameen. وَلَمْ يُؤْذِهِ أَحَدًا مِّنَ النَّبِيِّينَ قَبْلِي. No Nabi has been given this before me. إِلَّا يَكُونَ اللَّهُ أَعْطَى Harun. Harun alayhi salam was given this Ameen. Musa alayhi salam made dua. وَيُؤَمِّنُ Harun. And Harun alayhi salam said Ameen. وَآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا أَنِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ.